Hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure some shit out. There we go. No, turn around, desk camera. There we go. Okay, let's see. All right, let me see what's going on. Can you guys hear me? All right, somebody in the chat, tell me if you can hear me. Yes, we can hear you. Word up. All right, let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm rolling solo tonight. So that's what's happening. I'm going to try to figure this out tonight. You guys are going to have to deal with me alone. Right? All right, I'll switch this out until we get started. I'm going to let some people get in here before I get started. I got to figure out a commission that I'm going to pick. So tonight's going to be an interestingly different night for me. Megan's out. She's feeling a little under the weather. John's worked his booty off. He's going to go chill out. So I'm chilling. So at some point, if Jim Mahfood jumps in here tonight, I'm going to con him into coming on with me. Right, Jim? Wherever you are. Yeah, so tonight is definitely me making this up as I go along. I need to see. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Nope. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a little adjusting, and you guys are going to have to bear with me while I figure out all the settings. I had a couple meetings today, and then a lunch today with some pals, local comic. Oh God, that's blaring for you guys. I'm really sorry. The light's gonna have to be there a little bit in the video here, but it doesn't matter. You guys don't need to see my face perfectly, right? Doesn't matter. I know you guys are solo with me. So this is my first paid subscription tier only stream. I thought it'd be cool to give you guys kind of a perk of getting to watch some of the behind the scenes stuff and the making of stuff for all the support you guys give me. Thought it'd be kind of cool. So I don't know what I'm going to pick tonight. I have a list Megan printed out of me. I got a lot of commissions to get done, and I know a lot of you guys are waiting for them. And I took those a long time ago, so it's time to get started on them. I think I'm just going to do I'm going to look through and pick one of the black and white ones tonight, because I didn't prep well enough today to have my paint and everything around. I was kind of an artist who leaned into the social life today a little bit. Well, not really. It was a bunch of comic book artists. And anytime we are comic book writers here in Kansas City, we get together and we have some fun and we talk about the business and we talk about ideas. And honestly, I came out of the meeting today with my comic book friends with possibly a new project, an old project that's becoming new, and I'll talk more about that later. But Caitlin Reed said, "Can you tell us about some of the commissions you received?" Oh yeah, I've got like Captain America, Magic from Marvel, Spider-Man and Mary Jane, Gertrude and Larry, Wolverine. There's so many. There's a lot of cool ones, and I'll, instead of just reading the list, I will just share these with you guys as I've come along. So I'm going to look through here real quick while we're here and see if there's a black and white one. Okay. I'm looking for some black and white ones. Oh, a Hulk Wolverine. That one's kind of cool. Probably not going to do a 2-character one tonight. Because I still got to go home and get some dinner. I might do... I got a couple black and white ones on here. I might do Gert. You guys want to see me do some Gert, right? Draw some Gert? Who's up for that? Matt Gilmore's asking about how to get on the list. I take a list once a year. If that, and it's Megan opens it up, and people send in their requests. And then I just go through the requests and I choose the ones that sound like I want to draw them. I used to just take whatever people gave, and what I realized is I stopped having fun doing commissions. So I stopped doing commissions because they weren't fun, because I would just take whatever people wanted. And sometimes I'm just not, I don't like drawing certain things, or I'm not great at drawing certain things, and that just doesn't make for a great fun drawing. So I think I might do a Gert piece tonight for you guys. I've drawn her a few thousand times, so that we shouldn't have a big problem. But it's going to be fun because it's going to be black and white, so I'll get to do a little bit more kind of pen rendery stuff, which I don't usually do with Gert because she's always in color. Speaking of which, I'm going to go hunt down my sketchbook real quick, because for those of you who have read my recent posts about sketchbooks, I'm getting way more into sketchbooks, or back into sketchbooks. So let me be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. This is really weird. I can't really play music because my phone is my camera here on the desk. So that's kind of weird to not be able to play music while I do this. So I don't know. And it's weird to have nobody talking to me. It's weird. But we'll see. We'll get Jim and them in here soon, I think, probably. Let's see. Let me put my desk on the big camera now. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you the questions and stuff are going to be, I don't know how I'm going to navigate those. So I'm probably going to be way less Q&A tonight and more just me chatting. And if I look up, and I see you guys asking something that I can answer, then I'll obviously jump in. I'm just scrolling through the comments real quick before I get started. And first of all, can I just say that you guys are all amazing for supporting Stupid Fresh Mess. The newsletter here. The newsletter here and everything, you guys don't know how much I appreciate it. My main goal has always been to be creator owned, and we're really getting closer and closer and closer to that being a reality, where the majority of my time is spent creating my own products, my own IP, my own books, along with Megan here, who has helped build the company to what it is today, where we can just kind of throw ideas out in the world, and she brings them to life. And we have John here, who has been such a great addition to the company. And we have a meeting later this week, probably maybe tomorrow, about some new roles that we're looking forward to fill. So it's been great, and you guys are a big part of that. You guys supporting the newsletter. I would call it a newsletter. I don't know what the fuck to call it. It's like Substack or whatever, but it's like we just appreciate you guys supporting through the monthly or annual subs or boss level, because it really does help us be able to fund creative products. We are able to hire editors. We've been able to hire some fantastic cartoonists and do things like this and hire on new people to ship stuff out for you guys and giveaways and things like that. So we're only going to keep growing, and we really do appreciate it. Let's see. All right, I'm going to see real quick if there's any answers, then I'm just going to start drawing. I see that Megan is she is joining in the comments from home. Megan, if you see anybody, if you see my food in here, you know what? Should I just text them? Let me see. Let's see. Let's do what? Text Jim my food.
What do you want to say?
Hey man, are you around? Period. Or I mean question mark. I'm talking to my watch like Knight Rider or Dick Tracy. Period. If you're around, come on the stream. I'm all by myself and could use a side. Nope. Not a sidekick. You're not a sidekick. A homie. Yep. That's what happens when you talk to a watch. Peace out. She goes, yeah. She goes like that. That was a mess.
Okay, I'll send this.
Yep. We're sending it.
Okay, then.
That's the craziest text I've ever sent. It's a hot ass mess. So let's see if Jim texts me back. In the meantime, we'll do some. We'll see if you guys can see everything. See if it's all set up correct. How's that? All right, here's the fun part, the what the hell do I draw part. So let's say we're going to do a Gert. I'm going to do a more action-y Gert. Ooh, like a leaping Gert maybe. This is how my brain works. I just start kind of doodling. You see where I'm just right. This is the stage where you're just like, you don't really have ideas, so you're just like going through your gestures and seeing what starts to come together. It's kind of, but I don't think it'd have a fun face. So it's a tank girl Gert. Yeah, Megan said she totally abandoned me for the live stream. No, she didn't. I knew she was gonna. She was pretending this morning like she was gonna be able to do it, and I knew she's been under the weather for a couple days. I knew she wasn't gonna be able to make it, even though she was pretending that she could. Everybody has to listen to their bodies and just chill the F out. Megan works super fucking hard around here, so she shouldn't be in here messing around with me and you guys. But she's on the live stream. So you can see, like, usually my thing is here. Like, right now, I'm just getting the concept. I'm not worried about, does this look good or not? I'm just like, oh, what's the concept? I'm not feeling that yet. So I'll start coming up with other ideas. This is going to be the funnest part of this, guys. You guys are going to watch me fumble around for a while until I hit something that inspires me based on a character I've been drawing thousands of times in my life. And this is going to be a black and white commission. So, I want to come up with something. I want to come up with something that has that in mind. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to look good in black and white. Huh. So you guys are just gonna be bored while you watch me doodle. Is that cool? Sorry, this is the non-fun part of drawing. This is kind of what I want to show you guys. That a lot of what we do, you guys see a finished product, but a lot of it's this. It's like just scribbling for either 10 minutes or 2 hours until something clicks. You know what I mean? You just never know. Go there. All right. Fairyland, oh fairyland. Let's see. What if we do Gert? And so. Excuse me. Still not there yet. Gert attacking Falcor. No, that's 2 characters. I'm not working that hard, bro. Let's see. Gert conquered Hellboy. I can't put Hellboy. This is a commission for somebody, so they just want Gert. I can't be throwing in characters from other properties in this one because this is what they wanted. So we'll figure it out. I'm trying to think what other kind of fun look at she have. Trying to figure out like cool poses that I haven't done with Gert. It's hard. I've done a lot of poses with her. Let's see. Do Gert sitting on a mushroom, maybe? No, not feeling it. That's a hard thing because I'm trying to think of some other weapons. I've drawn her with her axe so many times, but also, I don't know, that's kind of cool, right? And this one right here is my front runner right now is the leaping axe wielding action packed Gert. I like that one, but I also like a good post chop Gert where she's already chopped it. Yeah, where we can see, boom, her feet. This is how my brain works. Like, you don't start seeing things until it's just like lots of scribbles. Can you guys even see that? I hold a pencil really weird too, so I never know our pen, so it's always tough to figure out if you guys can even see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think we might have to go with this one. This was my first. See how this happens? You guys watch this. So I did this first, then this. Then I start running around. I go over here, and then I come back, kind of coming back to the, you know what I mean? Just like it's. So I might head towards something with that one. Because you can see I can just boom, boom, get her eyes. Boop. Guys, this is so weird to be so silent here. I wish I could figure out. I don't know how to play music in here. It's all right. There's one of those times where I wish everybody had mics. Yeah. Brian Jeffrey said, I feel the pain in the lefty and the spiral notebooks. I was so glad to move to loose leaf and binders way back in the school days. Yeah, man. I mean, I did that too. It's just the only difference. It was getting hard for me to keep paper around all the time. And this is kind of like built-in drawing board as well. You know what I mean? All right. So I'm going to take something like this. This pose is where I'm going to start with this commission, okay? So I'll put this off to the side so I still have reference. I got my paper under here. Probably going to go with a regular pencil on this because it'll, like a regular 2B pencil on this, because it'll probably erase better than it will if it's blue. I love sketching with the blue because it's just such a soft. It's such a soft lead. Sorry, it's been a full work week, and last week was my birthday, so we went hard. But anyway, the blue pencil you can see here, I use these Prismacolor color erases, and they glide around the paper just so easy. But even though they're called call erase, meaning like they're supposed to be erasable, and they come with the eraser, this eraser sucks. It completely does like a weird, dirty pink streak on your paper, and it looks disgusting. But it doesn't really erase it. Even with different erasers, it doesn't erase that well. So here comes the tricky part. So, oh shit. I'm so used to drawing digitally, so I can recenter everything, automatically. I draw things digitally and print them out and do this. But for commissions, I don't really want that printout under there. I want everybody to kind of have like a real piece of art that wasn't like a thing with the computer. So we'll see. Let's see where I'm going. So sometimes the difficulty is just finding like where to place everything to make sure that you could fit it, because there's nothing worse than starting a drawing and realizing that nothing fit on things. So my process there is more like just really quick, really light. You guys barely see that, right? You see, I probably started that too small because I'm like trying to figure out the paper and what all. So I'm gonna back myself into something. I'm gonna create a problem for myself and then try to solve it. Meaning I'm gonna draw Gert with this axe jumping. And now I'm kind of trying to decide, do I do it or do I do it this? Because really her pose and with the axe probably makes a better image sideways, like a widescreen, animated thing. The axe, creates a little bit of a problem. So I'd have to draw her tiny to fit her giant axe in, and then you just got all this paper. So let's go ahead and try to do it sideways. Sorry, I'm just looking at the. I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine because it's the evening time. All right. Also, I'm going to warn you guys. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quick because I did forget my laptop charger, so I'm using my iPad charger right now, which is the block isn't as powerful, so my battery's probably going to drain more than I wanted to, which I am going to lower the brightness down. So let's try to get this Gert started. So like I said, I'm going to try to work out the shape placement first. That way I can really get. That way, if I'm not too far down a rabbit hole, if I've not worked out the space enough, you know what I mean? Do you guys, everybody can see that pretty good? At some point, I'll get some professional lighting up in here. You guys know you're just going to work out. So now what I like to do in this stage is get as much energy and motion in the gesture as possible. So you think of things as in motion lines. You see this? The arm to the back to what will eventually be the leg too, right? This is one big motion line. So you really feel like the arch your back. You want everything to feel like, well, basically when I draw, I just think of a massive movement. And I got that from one of the main animators on the Disney's Atlantis. And he said when he character designs, he just gets to the table and he starts thinking about movement and mass. And that's really what all drawing is. It's just movement and mass, you know what I mean? So right here, I'm not caring about any details at the moment. We'll worry about those later. What I'm doing is blocking out placement and really thinking about the energy of movement and mass. You know what I mean? He said, Daniel, I have to leave anyone. I am going to, I believe that I'm going to make this afterwards. I'll make this video private and then I'll put a post. I will put a post. I'll send out an email with the link that will be permanently on the Substack for paid only. And then, yes, you guys will be able to come back and watch this video. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I can do that. I'm still learning all the tricks and techniques of YouTube and streaming and everything. But yeah, if you have to leave, I get it. This is, I'm going to try my best to make this available to all the paid subs. See how we're like everything right now is just about as loose as you can get. I'll put this a little closer just so you guys can see what we're dealing with here. Like right now, this is just nothing. Now, I have friends who are way more like confident in those first lines where they just start jumping at it. You know what I mean? Like, and they're not scribbly at all. I am a crazy scribbly artist. It's just who I am. This is how I draw. I find my energy and my shape in the scribbles. And so now I'm trying to decide, like you can see here, we got the sketch that I'm working off of, right? I got both legs the same, which I do like that pose. But also, I could easily, like I think I like both bent. Because it's really like her body's compacting, like she has to pull the whole thing back. Now, the only other thing that I could do here, and I'm not convinced that I shouldn't yet, is mimic this shape here and bend it back even further here with her arms. So that way it's like a cantilever, right? It's like both are like, and it, like that tension of her body is even more. The only problem with this, now see, here's where the problem with that is where do I put the axe? And the axe creates an impossible kind of tangent there with that. So it's either I don't take it back as far, but then I don't know what to do with this other arm here, right? So this is where you start working on. I think we nailed it the first time, where we let the axe be the full, like her hand is the fulcrum and the axe goes back like that. All right. So again, shaping, blocking out. Everything's just blocking things out at this point and making sure that everything fits where it should. That way, now see, if I got too precious with these arms and hands, you got to remember I'm going to be covering some of this up with her bow and hair. So I don't want to waste a bunch of time drawing something that I'm just going to cover up. So another thing is, and you see here, what I love to do is no straight lines. I fucking hate straight lines. I want everything to be bending and gravity to be affecting everything. You know what I mean? There's nothing straight. Everything's. Here's the one thing I got to do though. I just have to like look at my hand and see which side or thumb would be right here. There you go. I made the mistake a couple times in my life putting the fucking wrong hand on the wrong side. And I look like an idiot. What's the all right? So we go back down. You see how I'm all over the place. Part of it's because I'm talking to you guys, so it's definitely like, you know, I've never done a commission like this fully live. I mean, I've drawn at conventions and everything, but not something like this that's going to be finished. You know what I mean? So this is an experiment. We'll see if it comes out good. If it doesn't, I'm blaming you, fuckers. Oh, Sketchy Guy Nevada said, I like listening to the thought process. I have no idea how you can talk and draw at the same time. You not get too focused. Well, here's the thing. I've been drawing comic books for over 20 years professionally, you know, not to mention all the drawing I did before that. So at some point you just internalize a lot of things. So I don't need to think about how did I do that now? At some point, I don't need to think about the technique. That's all internal. Now, right now, for me, it's only about movement, motion, mass, and I don't need to concentrate on that. In fact, sometimes not concentrating on it makes me move along. You know, I haven't really drawn Gert a ton over the last years or whatever. She's pretty great. I mean, she's fun to draw. Not super. You're like, oh, you guys, I created a great character. Is my mic on this? Oh, sorry. I gotta make sure. Let me make sure I'm using the right mic. Yes. If I got my good mic and I'm not even using it. Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay. Check. Okay. I'm using the right mic. Wait, did I not text Jim my food? I texted him, right, guys? Text Jim my food.
What do you want to say?
Hey, man, are you around?
Okay, I'll send this.
Yes, send. Oh, I pressed don't send last time. Cool. There we go. I put that big crazy text and I hit don't send. I thought I hit send. Oh, yeah, all right. So let me get Gert going here. Oh, yeah, look at that. CB Sabolski's in the house. CB, one of my oldest friends in comics. Love that he's joining us tonight. CB and I have been kicking around this business for so long. I feel like we've lapped it now. CB and I met in 2000, I think, and we used to pitch all types of fun stuff to Marvel. CB would call me; he'd be hanging out with somebody and be like, "Oh, hey, somebody likes this," and then me and him would, it'd be 2 a.m. All of a sudden, I'd get back up and draw Juggernaut for some pitch or something. We just had so much fun, man. It was like 2 nerds, like just trying to find our way in this business. And to me, it's so fun to look all these years later and CB's the editor in chief of Marvel Comics. And I've done a few things at Marvel Comics. I've done a few things with my creator own. But for CB and I, whenever we really sit down, there's almost never a time where we don't get together and just say, like, can you believe this? Like, and I think everybody should know that about everybody, almost everybody that I know that I consider really close friends. We all love what we do so much that we never get used to it, and it's never something we're like, oh man, I gotta go to work today. We're still like, I cannot believe this is what happened for us. Like, and not happened. It didn't happen. I mean, we bust our ass, but it's really great. And CB and I have been kicking it around. Like CB just said, Wizard World Chicago. He came by. He was getting some indie books together at Image, and left a card at my friend's table for me where I had my portfolio. And the rest is history, man. We just became buds. Now we just go. Now I don't know what we like doing more now, Siebes. Excuse me. I don't know what we like doing more now. Making comics or eating at awesome restaurants. By the way, I ate at Corvino the other night. Siebes, have you been to Corvino? I can't remember if Siebes has been to Kansas City and been to Corvino. Now you guys can see, right? Like she's starting to come together. Like she's starting to form now, you know? We can balance both. You're right, Siebes. We can. I will say for this, because since CB's in the chat room, I really don't know that I've ever known anybody who had the ability to spot talent, and not just talent. I think it's interesting what we say when we say like spot talent. I think that when you see a certain caliber of artist at a certain time, of course it's not hard to be like that person's really good. You know what I mean? But one of my favorite attributes of CB is he was able to see people who were going to be good, that they were good when CB met him, but he has an uncanny ability to understand that there's something big right around the corner in artists, and I've always appreciated about them. So CB, yes, Corvino was in an issue of Strange Academy. It was the death of Doctor Strange. I had written a different scene. I had thought that a character was still in Asgard and imprisoned under the World Tree, and that was not the case. So I had to change that up. And well, my editor and dear friend Nick Lowe said, "You know what? Just pick your favorite restaurant, and we'll put it there." So my favorite restaurant is from my dear friends here, Michael Corvino and Christina. They own Corvino Supper Club, and he's the chef, James Beard Award-nominated chef. It's amazing. So we reached out to them, see if they cared. They were thrilled. And we put Michael and Christina in an issue with one of the Asgardian twins, Eric, and his mother, the Enchantress. And they were thrilled. In fact, my birthday was last week, and we rolled down to Corvino, and she brought out like 4 copies of the comic to have me sign. It was really cool. So I love when the worlds collide. And CB is one of the first people that really started to introduce me to, you know, really, really great food and great chefs, and to the concept that food and comics and art are all like they share a DNA that, you know, being a chef is just as much of an artistic endeavor as drawing comic books or painting. And I, once CB pointed that out to me, I just thought that was super cool. Let's see what else we got. All right, we're getting to the. Now here's where I said we're going to freestyle. So I'm going to get Gert's axe. But then I got to figure out what. This is where I wanted. Earlier I said I want to create a problem that I'm going to have to solve. And that problem is, what is she getting ready to? What is she so excited to chop? I find that writing, drawing, storage, any of that is really just problem solving. It's just like figuring out an equation. Like, you know, we started off with this blank paper, and we're going to try to solve it somehow and make it not blank, but make it all work and be balanced and everything. It's the same thing with story. It's like when I write a comic book, I've got 20 pages. So I've got this blank 20 pages, and we've got to figure out a perfect balance to take you on a ride, also leave you wanting more, give you enough information to feel like you got what you wanted out of it. There's so many things to it. It's just, but it's fun because it's kind of like improv. Like right now, you guys saw it. We started off with this, right? We started off with this, and then I said, we're going to create a problem for me to solve. And now it's like, we've got this great piece, but what is going to be here that she is supposed to be getting ready to chop? I think just while I'm talking about this, I think I have an idea, and I think it's going to be, I think it's pretty funny. And we'll see if I can pull it off. I think Gert's classy, so she has pinky out. She always has pinky out while she has her axes. You know what I mean? Like a glass of wine, like just like a pinky out. You know. Dun, dun. It's really weird. Our studio is on a street, so I'm not usually used to being here this late. So it's weird watching cars drive by and being like, "Oh, I hope nobody comes in here." Actually, I'm gonna lock my door. Hold on 1 second. That way, I don't have to interrupt you guys or interrupt the feed. All right. All right. All right. So we got Gert drawn, and now we've got to do something for her to. Something to her for be chopping. I wonder if Casey. I wonder if Casey's around. Let me text my wife. Hey Casey, what are you doing? Do you want to come on live? I'm all by myself. I'm on myself. Nope. That did not text the right way. Hey honey, comma. I'm all by myself on the live stream, period. Do you want to come on and keep me company? All right. I think, let's see. Big old Gert. She's ready to chop. If you look at this, like here's the thing. She's going to be swinging that axe. The line of action would be about here. So somewhere in this area is what, in her eyes, see this? So somewhere around here. I think it is, you guys tell me. You guys see this? You guys tell me when you figure out who she's going to be trying to chop. I think this is only fitting. There's a delay in the comments as well. So when I ask you guys something, it always takes a few minutes before I see what you guys have replied. Sorry, guys. Again, I will figure out the lighting situation. Is everything okay so far on the drawing part? Like it's not too dark, right? And I'm gonna have to readjust it when I get to the inking anyway, because you guys know my whole inking thing. My watch is always telling me to stand and stuff. Gets on my nerves. I don't want to see that. I don't want to overlap his arm. All right, lighting looks good. Okay, everybody says it's good. So I think that's good, right? And what we could do here is give Larry a little trail. But I think it's kind of fun that she'd be trying to chop her buddy Larry up. You know what I mean? But we got to find something else. Needs to be something added in here. So what we're going to want to do, usually I have a brush. I didn't bring it in here. So my fingers are going to be all gross tonight. All right. So what we'll do is we'll add a little. Here's another little tip. I stole this. But I made it. I think I phrased it. I mean, I think I created what I thought about. It doesn't matter. Eric Canetti does these brilliant sketches, and he did them for so long. And he would always put one little bit of setting in it. Did he lose the cigar? You know what? You're right. That's down here, right? Oh my gosh, Jorian Rivera just made this. I probably fucked your name up, bro. Or yeah, I probably fucked your name up, but you just saved this commission. So there's the cigar now, and that is what creates. There you go. That's what creates the trail. See how that works? All right, brother. CB, love you, buddy. Please let me know, man. I would love to have. I'm gonna get my mission now is gonna get. We're gonna bring CB on for a conversation, and we'll definitely make that a paid sub situation. Get CB on here. We can. Oh, you know what? Fuck that. We're gonna make it free for everybody. That way we can get CB up in here and really, really give out some tips. This guy is one of the smartest dudes I know, and a brother to me. So love you, Siebes. Thanks for hanging out. Cheers, man. I can't wait to see you again. So, Jorian, you crushed that idea. I wanted motion. You saw that I was trying to figure out a way to add motion. And you mentioned the cigar, which I totally forgot. And now the cigar creates extra motion. What we are trying to do at all times is fool people into a static image being non-static. We want you to feel like if you look long enough, it's going to start moving. Anyway, let me go back to that earlier thing that I was talking about. Eric Canetti always drew these cool sketches, and he'd always put a little bit of setting in it. And I started to think of that setting like a toy, like a play set. Like J. Scott Campbell drew these. J. Scott Campbell years ago did some Danger Girl figures, and each one of the figures came with like a little play set stand. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, it was just like a little bit of a scene. So it'd be like, here's an alligator coming out of a little thing of water with like a fence or something, right? And it just adds a little context to the situation, but it's not like a full drawing. I'm not doing a full background. To me, it's like a little statue. And so I try my best when doing commissions or doing drawings or sketches to think that way and think of it. So it's either like a little play set with an add-on setting, or it's like a stage play. Stage plays have a couple actors and then just add a few elements that tell you where they are about their environment. They can't go and build a full set for every scene in a live stage production. So they might have a bench with a street lamp, and that's it. And so here, it's just kind of be the same thing. We're going to come up with like one of my Fairyland rolling hills. And then, some classic Fairyland add-ons like mushrooms. You can never go wrong with mushrooms. But we also want to, she's jumping, so we want to show the environment kind of affected by her, you know what I mean? Probably like a rock or some sort. Some mushrooms still around this. You can see here, I'm just placing. I do a lot of my work in ink. I don't like working things out so perfectly. I want the inking stage. Before I would do my pencils so clean. Let's go back to J. Scott Campbell and Joe Madden, those guys. Those guys inspire me so much. And Alberto, like they inspire me so much. But those early pages I would try to like emulate were so cleanly drawn that I emulated that. And then what happened was I was so bored by the time I got to the inking stage, because I just felt like at that point, I was just doing technical work. I wasn't creating anything. And anybody who knows me personally knows I fucking hate technical work. I don't like putting together furniture. I fucking hate puzzles. Like anything that's just going through the motions of directions or whatever, it doesn't work for me. And so inking, like penciling really tight and then just repeating all those lines to make them black didn't work for me. And so I just kind of got to a place where I stay about as loose as this. So you can see here, like this Larry, there's not a ton of information there. Gert's a little bit more detailed, obviously, but then when you get down here, you're like, what I'm doing is just indicating some situations. You know what I mean? So grab this. Now that we've got this part, what have we been doing this? We're about an hour in. So we got the commission. This commission's worked out. You know what I mean? It's pretty worked out as far as the drawing. So I'm just going to chill now for a few minutes, just take a break and see if you guys got any questions. Let me get myself on the big screen. Wait, somebody text me. Let's see. Who texted me? Oh, Jim just got home. I'm going to tell him I'm live streaming. I said, hey, I'm live drawing a commission. Want to come keep me company? Megan bailed. Megan knows I'm giving her shit. Brian Jeffrey said, favorite barbecue spot in KC? It's all over the place. I like a place called Woodyard. That's really smoky. They've got some really good smoke in there on their meats. Joe's Kansas City is really good. It used to be called Oklahoma Joe's. They got some great sandwiches and some really good brisket. The best barbecue baked beans is Jack Stacks. Now Jack Stacks is like a little bit more like chainish, locally kind of chainish, but it doesn't matter. The food's still good, and fuck, the barbecue baked beans are so good. They do their burnt ends over it. So I mean, they do all their meat over it. So like all the fat rendered is dripping down into all the brisket fat is dripping down into the beans as it cooks. So that's all this natural flavor. Oh, it's so good. Now I want that for dinner tonight. Oh, my watch was talking. Jim is going to come in and save me. Yeah, Chuck Arnold says KC was the first place I had burn ends. Burn ends are so good. So good. I mean, here's the thing. Most barbecue spots here are going to be pretty good. Like, it's for a place like Kansas City, if you got a spot and it's been open for any amount of time, you're probably doing something right. You know what I mean? Christina said, when we can expect some Gert merch? We're definitely going to have some Gert merch as we get closer to the ongoing Fairyland launch in the fall. I think we're at now. We had a few hiccups with the planned launch of the ongoing, but we've got all that smoothed out now. So outside of that, we just had to push it back just a little bit. Jared Hickman said, what is your go-to food delivery on a busy day at the studio? I've been trying to eat better, and like over COVID, it got really nuts. And then it got really nuts. And then I got a Peloton and started eating better, started meal prepping, and got pretty healthy for a while. And then I don't know what happened last summer. I decided to reward myself like crazy, and that went the other direction. So right now, if I don't bring a meal prepped lunch, I will usually order Chipotle because they deliver really fast, and I can control the amounts of everything, so I can make sure that there's good lean protein and side of. I put the rice on the side so I can measure how much rice. So it's fairly like healthy, low calorie, low carb, all of that on what I need. The other thing is we got this really great spot over here called Evolve Kitchen, and they do really healthy pre-prepared meals that you just come over and microwave. So it's really good. All right, Jim's going to be, I think, joining me here in a few. Let's see. Yep. He said, give me a couple minutes. So now I won't be so rambly. It'll be us chatting. You know what? I'm going to mute my mic in a minute. I'm going to do something that's not cool on live stream, but I'm going to run to the little boy's room. So, mic mute. Unmute. Okay. Magdalena Kessler says, when you create a new comic/character, do you create a story first or create a story based on an image? It really depends. I mean, I've doodled around and was like, oh man, this is cool. And did that. Or like I Hate Fairyland was like a concept I came up with and developed and really worked out. And the main character, it took me a long time to get to Gert. When I first made up I Hate Fairyland, Gert was a older man, not a little girl. He had come to. I'll tell you more. I'm gonna save some of that for another time. But yeah, sometimes you back into it either way. Sometimes the story comes from a doodle. Like Boy at the End was definitely inspired by a drawing. Boy at the End, for those who don't know, is like the little kid gas mask character that I used to explore emotions and feelings and things like that. And that character came from a drawing of a rabbit that I put a gas mask on. I was going to do this animal comic like Apocalyptic Bunny, or I don't know. I didn't get to the name, but I had drawn this. Rabbit with like a coat. I mean, basically it's Boy at the End, but just with rabbit ears. It was going to be my Apocalypse Bunny story. This rabbit walking through the apocalypse, and I just couldn't. Nothing was working, and I couldn't figure out why. And I was forcing it. I was just forcing it. And then one day I sat there and I looked at that sketch that I did, and I have this somewhere. And when I finally get to Boy at the End this year, you guys will. I'll post all this, but I just went in with a whiteout pen and I just erased the ears, and then I had Boy. The boy was standing there. I just erased the bunny ear. I just whited out the bunny ears, and I was like, "Oh man." There was just something striking about the design, because the gas mask also was like a completely made up gas mask. It's not, I didn't use reference. It's not a real, it doesn't look like a regular gas mask. It's more like, it's just a mask that looks kind of, it's an assimilation of a gas mask, So, and then I started like, you have like, you want to explore a mood you're in one day, or a feeling you're having, or a feeling one of your friends are having, or just like you want to do an exercise or a study on emotions in general that have nothing to do with you. And so I just started popping Boy in those scenarios and coming up with things to put him in. And so now it's like it's been my white whale, where I've been chasing this story for years. And I am finally going to do it. That's the next thing that you will see me write and draw is Boy at the End. Tracy Hoffman said, what came first for Middle West? Middle West was out from a drawing as well. I did a daily sketch one day where I drew a little kid talking to a farmer, and the farmer had his rake. He was old and had his hat, but he was overalls. And in my head, and I didn't know what the two were going to say to each other. A lot of similar to this, where I pose a problem and then I will solve it later. It's very improv based. So where this was, I'm going to have Gert swinging an axe, but no idea who she's trying to cut. And it's actually her closest pal and guide, Larry. I made that up later, right? So Middle West was started as a drawing of a farmer talking to a little boy, and the boy. So I drew it, and they were sitting there, and then I just had to look at it, and I'm like, "What are they saying to each other?" And then I just wrote, "You don't look like a wizard," because for some reason I was like, "This guy, he's old. He has a hat. Here's his staff, but it's a rake." And I'm from the Midwest, and this is what old men, old men looked like this. They were bib overalls, a John Deere hat. They're farmers. And the little kid says, "You don't look like a wizard." And the man just says, like, "Well, what's a wizard look like?" And so all of a sudden, out of that random improv kind of sketch, I started to kind of be like, what's the story beyond this? What's the story of these two characters? What's the story of the kid? And why would this old man be a wizard? And as I kept thinking about it, it went through different versions. I had very different ideas for a little bit, but I'd always been toying about telling a much personal story about a father and a son and abusive relationships and things like that. And as that was one hand, that was a part of one project. And then this Middle West, the kind of Midwest magic, which I ended up calling kind of like, farm fantasy, right? Like rural, it's like rural fantasy. The more I started thinking about that, I was like, wow, what if we combine those two? And I took the idea of the father-son story I wanted to tell, but I mixed it with this drawing. So yeah, that's where the Middle West kind of came from, a drawing, but then got added to an older idea that I'd already been cooking up, and the two kind of came together. All right. What up, dude?
Whoa, what is going on, man?
I gotta figure out if I'm doing something wrong.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Dude, let me show you something right off the bat, real quick. Are you ready for this?
Yes. No, dude.
Fat Boys on vinyl. I went over to my buddy's house this weekend. He was having a porch driveway party, and we were all DJing and playing some of our old records. And I haven't broke out the records in a while, dude, but I found some gems in my collection. And
oh my God.
I wanted to show you this because, dude, like, imagine, okay, you're the Fat Boys, and then there's an art director at a record label who's like, okay, guys, I have an incredible idea. Right. You guys in satin jackets, and then we also superimpose a pizza. And you're in your jailhouse outfits to represent the song Jailhouse Rap.
Right.
And you're holding a giant slice.
Oh my God.
I mean, my favorite. They don't make rap music like this anymore.
They do not. And to that, so I'll go I forget what the album was called, but the Fat Boys album where they were on the cover on motorcycles, and they had leather jackets, and instead of spiked studs, they were forks.
Oh yeah. My God.
So like basically like Ghost Rider, where he'd have spikes here,
yeah,
and it'd be studded. They weren't spiked; they were forks.
Wow.
That was the one where they did the Freddy Krueger song.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Okay.
like I eat it, I need it, jelly roll.
Yes. So it definitely wasn't the Disorderlies soundtrack.
No, not the Disorderly soundtrack. It was like, was it called Fat Boys Are Back? Is that an album name?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
I
Yep.
think that's the one because it's like Fat Boys Are Back,
Yep.
and you know they could never be whack.
Dude, this is from '84, and like it has the
Oh,
the
somebody,
human
no,
beatbox.
Chuck Arnold. Chuck Arnold just said, "Coming back hard again." That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I can see the comments. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that, and you will definitely appreciate. Dude, come on.
Yes, dude.
How
That's
classic was this when this came out? This is
that
like
was
my college
good.
shit right here. And then
Yeah.
people make fun of this because it was a top 40 hit.
That
but
album is so good.
what people do not realize, music nerds, is this was produced by the Dust Brothers and Matt Dyke, the guys who made Paul's Boutique with the
Yes.
Dust Brothers. So they formed Delicious Vinyl, and they put out this and Young MC's full-length record, and these both sold fucking millions and millions of
Yeah.
copies.
People,
And they're dope. They're
right.
super dope.
People don't realize how good that Tone Loc album was. Like, it's so good. And I love that we were so young when we were exposed, like, because we were just into rap. We were like, what? Okay, cool. This was on. But then when you would get it, that doesn't happen anymore today, right? Like, if you get something based on a single you like, it's not like the rest of the album slays you.
Right.
Like, but like back then, like if you bought Kid and Play Too Hype and you for the singles, you got a whole album of dope shit. If you bought Fresh Prince and DJ Jeff's first two albums, people sleep on him because of like Wild Wild West era Will Smith.
Right.
But you are hard pressed to find doper, like straight hip hop shit than those albums where like they've got straight beatboxing, world class scratching and DJing, and dope MCing from a really young Philly MC. Like,
so good.
So good. So
It's
good.
also too, I mean, again, like we immediately start talking about old man shit, but the whole thing is that era. And when I was collecting records and tapes as a kid, it was like the overall full album had to be worth it. It had to be a full hour-long experience to get your money's worth.
Right.
So I know we live in an era now of singles, that's fine, but
right,
like the era that how you proved yourself back then was like, no, the whole album has to be dope. Like
it had to be.
Album has got to be some sort of experience, basically.
Right.
Know?
Well, we couldn't. It's like the thing is we couldn't have. Like there was a thing where I feel like when we went to buy albums, we learned that they're going to be good. But then there was an era where we started to get burned a little bit. But that's also when CDs were around and stores started letting you open them up and listen.
Yes. You could sample. You could sample stuff.
Yeah,
they had little listening stations, and
I remember Blockbuster when Blockbuster jumped to the music side, so they had Blockbuster Music at the mall. They would let you take. So some places just had listening stations for the top albums that were coming in, right?
Right.
But Blockbuster let you bring whatever album was in the store to the counter to the listening stations, and they'd cut it open.
Oh shit! I didn't experience that.
Yeah, Blockbuster Music they would open any CD you wanted, sit you at the music station, and they'd put it back there. I mean, you couldn't take it, but they'd break the seal and everything.
Wow. Okay.
Which I was like, what? And then they had a thing back there where they reseal it, but like the sticker, like because back then they had the sticker seal, but they break it. But I mean, there's a reason that Blockbuster Music didn't last because I was like, do you know how many albums I did not buy?
Yeah. Here's a stack of shit that I don't want, but I will buy.
Exactly.
Definitely what I'm fully invested in, like I said, as a full album.
Yes.
Too Shameless is asking favorite new artist of today. Someone I wanted to shout out to you guys and also you, Skottie, in particular, because you're in Kansas City, is my buddy Steady P is an MC, and he is the king of the underground rap scene in Kansas City. He's
really
out there. So Skottie, I need to send you some of his music. My little brother DJ Moff DJs for him, and Steady put out a record last year I think it's called Toxic something, but it's on Spotify. Check out
Okay.
Skottie P on Spotify. But dude, this record, like Kansas City magazines and publications put it in their top 10 of all KC records last year.
No shit.
He's been around the scene for a long time, and he just makes, produces, distributes, puts out his own music. Him and my brother Dan, you know, are a team and went on many tours throughout the years. And dude, they wound up opening for Snoop Dogg
No way.
in City like 4 or 5 years ago, I believe. And obviously it was like, you know, the highlight of their lives basically. But I have to tell you a real quick, funny, hilarious story because it's like exactly what you would expect
Right.
to happen, where they opened up the show, they tore the roof off, everybody loved them, the crowd was going wild. They're walking off stage and they announce Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's DJ starts. Snoop Dogg isn't even in the building yet. Dan and Steady go outside to like smoke. They're pouring sweat and stuff. As soon as they step outside, an entourage of limos pulls up behind the club, straight out of like a movie scene. The doors open, smoke billows out. Snoop Dogg comes out of the limo, bro, and is followed by an entourage of like babes and his family and Bishop Don Magic Wand and all this shit. And Steady and my brother are just like, holy shit, dude. And Snoop just walks past them and is like, "What's up, players?"
Oh, no
And
way.
grabs the mic and just walks directly onto the stage and goes into gin and juice.
That's
Like,
so good.
insane, fucking insane level of, you know, performance, and
That's
just
so good, dude.
exactly what you would think it would be. So yeah, guys, for new stuff, I mean, I would recommend Steady P. I'm really looking forward to Madlib is produced the new Black Star record,
What?
and that's supposed to be coming out soon. That's Talib Kweli and what's most stuff go by?
Yusuf.
Stuff. I
Yeah.
forgot. I don't know.
Yep.
But, so I'm very much looking forward to that record. And hip hop's a tricky one for me because like my little brother always tries to turn me on to new stuff, and some of it resonates with me, some of it doesn't. But you know,
oh shit, you know what? Let me see if I got Spotify on here. I think I was trying to say this name recently. Hold on. Oh, hold on.
I'm gonna open mine as well, just so I can look at all the new shit.
Hold on one second. Just got to started, kids. We're at the park to blah blah blah. Hold on.
Oh, Yassine Bey.
There you go.
Thank you, Christina.
God, like I said, I don't think I have Spotify in here. Every time I keep trying to think of this guy's name, and now I'm on my phone and I can't get on my phone. Let me see if I can pull up my Spotify on here. Well, I'll figure it out. I'm with you. Like the new stuff is difficult for me. Because it's either in a mix that Spotify's created based on what I like.
Right.
And so I don't catch who it is. But it's now I will say there's a Seattle dude that I've kind of been into recently. Sam LaChow? Anybody in there know Sam LaChow? He's from Seattle. He's got a really interesting cadence and flow and some good production.
Oh, sweet. Hey, Scotty, could I play a snippet of Steady P? Would you?
Absolutely, yeah. No, do it. No, this is not. Nothing on here is monetized. So,
okay.
Yeah, dude, I would love that.
This is off the new record. It's called SOS Toxic, and this is my brother doing the production, Steady rapping, and the song is called Out of Pocket, and it's a tribute to MF Doom.
Oh man,
keep this out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Dirty ass kid scheming on my lawn, still copping my sneaker stock and rando jersey dons. Descendant of the masked one in many marathons. For need for brands and soapboxes for which the rest is standing on. Label owners really for slave trauma, stamping pawns, counterclop cultivators, stove seeds, and my carry-on. Dying to live, boy, I'm planning premature Padawans, Dark Van X, Double K's, Vendetta, Big Vaughn. Chess, and forever thankful for those songs. All moments of thoughts are righting wrongs, no beer pong. Monkey bars and muddy waters forever be dropping bombs until this homegrown critter and veteran gets burning on. I live the rock mics in 3D, former goal was 4D, and tapping out in reality. Seth Love X, lost Sub Rock, steady lost Tracy and never got over Tupac. Can't stop, won't stop.
That's so good.
That's my brother scratching right there.
I love it.
Knock down my totem pole and mountaintop.
So there you go. A little sample.
That's so good, dude. Do you know where he lives in the city?
I think he's I know he's in KC Mo. He might be close to Westport, man. I mean, he's in the city. He was hosting a night a while ago, like a weekly hip hop event. I also know that he's in the weed dispensary game. Like that's his side hustle is like the dispensary thing.
Right.
But just a great guy and a monster on the mic, dude. Like his voice is so distinct.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And he, whenever I saw them perform live at Christmas, I was in St. Louis. He came in to do a show, and his stage presence and his command of the mic is like, oh, this guy is legit, man. This guy is really good.
Jim,
You know?
is your brother still in St. Louis?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You should put me in touch with this. What's his name again?
Steady P.
Steady P. You should get us in touch because I should just have him roll over, like, and be on a live stream.
Oh my God, he would love that.
That'd be fucking dope.
Let me make a note of that so I don't forget.
We should also, like, at some point, like, I could pay to get your brother over here. And man, you should come. We got this huge space here. And part of the thing that I've been wanting to do is do what we do at cons and shit, is do a live art night.
Just do a jam at your space.
Do a fucking jam in the space and live stream that shit like a live party.
That'd be the shit.
So we need to fly you in and just do a night and get your brother in here.
Yeah.
And absolutely crush it.
You know what would be dope, man, is I could go to St. Louis at some point, visit the family, and then I could drive up to KC with my brother.
Yeah.
We get my brother, Steady, and me to show up in your studio. We rock some big canvases.
Yeah.
Get Kyle to roll through.
Kyle be in here in a heartbeat, like the whole squad. That's happening. Like COVID kept us locked down for too long. That's happening. All right. So since you don't know, Jim, what was happening tonight is I decided to do the live stream tonight for my paid subs only. And I decided to do a commission from start to finish.
Oh shit. Awesome. Okay.
So we started off, and Megan isn't feeling great. So that's why I was like, I could do this, but then I was like, fuck, man, I can't put any music on because I don't have all my music equipment is filming.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't have anybody to talk to. And so I texted you a long time ago talking through my watch, but I hit don't send, but it's probably good because it was the biggest run-on sentence of all time.
Oh yeah. I just got home when you texted me. I went and grabbed some lunch, and then I had to go to the comic shop to get I got King of Spies issue 4. Our book.
Yeah.
This book is fucking incredible, dude.
Word.
Mateo is crushing it.
He's so good, dude.
I don't know if you guys in the chat have seen this, but his skills, dude, is like
he's bonkers.
Nuts. And then I got our boy Ed Piscor. The new Red Room came out.
Awesome.
Today.
So I started off tonight, Jim. So I'm doing a commission for my commission list. So we got the commission list.
Oh shit!
I took a year ago. I got to get on them. So I was like, I'm going to show you guys the process. So you can see where I just was doodling. I was like, all right, we're going to go with this one. But I was like, the whole thing is I'm going to create a problem that I have to solve later.
Right.
So Gert, full action pose, gonna chop, but I just don't know what she's gonna chop. So that's where we started doodling, and we decided she's gonna chop Larry.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so it's like improvising with yourself. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I know you know this. It's like that's all of what we do as storytellers and cartoonists is just create a problem to solve. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the way you did that, is that how you approach most of your commissions, where you do a series of sketches of the main character, figure out what pose you want, and then you design around that pose?
Yeah, we so that's what I was talking about earlier. It really just depends. Tonight, that's how I felt, because what I do is I look for a pose that's going to be fun and exciting, and then my go-to thought process when doing daily sketches or commissions is drawing a character and then adding a little bit of a play set with it. Like,
Okay.
so I think of it as I'm designing a toy. So if we look at this piece as a whole, it would come with this little base, and there'd be a clear stand to have
Right.
her in the air, and then the same thing with, and you'd figure out a way to have Larry in the air. And that's just how I like it to be. And I was explaining to them earlier, it's either like a toy that comes with a little set with it to make you feel the environment for contextual purposes, or like a stage play where they're not going to build a whole park, but they're going to give you a street lamp and a bench.
Yep.
And then you interact on that. So that's kind of how I approach sketches or commissions or anything like that. I'm not going to draw. You're never going to see me draw a whole set of buildings and like a full blown cover or anything. To me, it's about trying to create a visual narrative with like a little bit of a stage play with the characters interacting.
Yes. That's also a very almost comic strippy Calvin and Hobbes approach,
Absolutely.
which I love, where it's like, I mean, you obviously know this, but I'll say it anyway, but you get Calvin and Hobbes like flying through the air,
Right.
and then you get a little patch of
Yep.
land underneath them just to establish the scenery, and
Yep.
it's like them and their radio flyer,
Absolutely.
or whatever, or their snow sled, or
Right. Or like this tattoo is them. This tattoo is them bursting out of the front door because Calvin has to go to school and Hobbes doesn't want him to, so he tackles him and messes all his homework.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's giving context to an energetic drawing without having to distract you with a full background.
Yes. That's interesting. Yeah, I was working on this Batman commission today, where it's basically, I figured out Batman first, and the cape is kind of the main.
Oh, let me get you on the big screen so people can see. Fuck.
So Batman obviously is the center, and then me figuring out that this cape would kind of be the main design element of like make that look badass, make all the energy going up this way, and then on the side here I just have this is gonna be a very graphic skull. All of this will be black, and you have the hint of a skull popping out like Mignola style, and then you have a bunch of bats over here in white, all set against black, and then I have Batman stepping on kind of like either another skull or maybe a pumpkin or something. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet, but as soon as I got that pose and then this, it's like, okay, well, this is all just design then.
Then you just improv and play.
Yeah.
Dude, that's dope as hell. We need to get, if we're gonna do this more to you, so we're gonna, because they laugh at me, or I laugh at myself, because every day, like today, I was like hooking all this shit up while I was live. I was like, all right, I'm doing it still. But so what I've done here on this StreamYard is how I sent you an invitation link?
Yep.
My phone is an invitation link I sent to myself.
Oh,
so
shit.
That's what's filming my drawing.
Okay.
So next time, if you have anything that can hold your phone or whatever camera, your phone would work, because then you could accept the link on your camera or on your phone, and we could do dual live drawing.
Let's do that. Yeah. We'll set it up for next time.
Yeah. Next week, we'll set it up. But yeah, so that's what I got in tonight. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give the live stream, the paid subscribers a little perk
That's awesome.
tonight to just come in and hang out and see us really do, because I think that's one thing that people don't think about us. Like they see the finished property, like the finished product, but they rarely see like the wackiness we go through to get there, you know?
Yeah, I trashed like 2 other Batman pieces before I got to this one, before I got to this design. You know, I was going for something different. It wasn't working out. Sometimes
Right.
that happens.
Yep.
And you just keep going, man, until it's all problem solving.
That's it. It's problem solving and accepting some problems you're not going to solve, but you have to accept it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like every now and then I'm like, we talked about style before, but I was like, half of my style is just accepting that mistake I made is there on the page now. Like it's there and I'm okay with it and it exists now. And all of a sudden, 2 years later, I intentionally make that mistake over and over because there was a flavor to it, you know?
Yep. I know that's one of the things I tried to figure out, which it sounds like an excuse, but I have this obviously looser, raw style where I can sort of keep the mistakes in a way and incorporate that into the piece, into the line work, paint over it but the painting over it, that texture then becomes part of the actual piece.
Right.
So, because dude, I just can't. I mean, I have friends whose work is like super tight and meticulous, which I respect that, but I just can't work in that way.
Right.
It would give me like anxiety.
Well, I used to work in that way, and that's when I realized the first parts of my career. We talked about this earlier. So if you see here, Jim, like this Larry drawing, that's it. Like that,
That's
I think to most people, they're not going to see. You and I draw loose like this.
Yeah.
Like we're basically just laying down. We're blocking out movement, mass, and composition. And other than that, we're going to make it all up with whatever inking tool we chose. Because I don't want to. I was explaining to everybody, like I used to try to pencil my pages like Chris Pacello and Joe Mad and
oh shit,
and that by the time I got to the inks, and I would imagine, I mean, based on your earlier work where it was much more solid block, thick lines, you might have been in that zone too, where we worked it out so perfectly in pencils that at the inking stage we were just tracing.
Exactly, that's exactly how I was,
and it was so boring.
Yeah.
And I was like, this can't be what drawing comics is. Like, it can't be what drawing comics is, you know?
Skottie, it's funny you brought that up. I'll tell you how I avoided the boredom is that was when I was at the height of my weed smoking. So I would spend all morning and early afternoon penciling the tightest pages I could pencil. And then in the afternoon, I would just get super blazed and do the inking. Because the inking, it's just what you said, man. It was just tracing the pencil, basically.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can be totally barbecued and just trace my own shit. Like, I don't have to be like sober to do this. And it was part of the process. But now I'm almost at the reverse where, I mean, I do obviously plan it, I pencil, but the inking is where.
That's where we're drawing.
That's where I'm drawing.
Yeah, I consider what I don't think these are even pencils. I just think these are layouts. Like,
yeah,
it's like the ink. My style now depends on ink and a brush because, like, you can see here where before there's a straight line under there, but me juddering and jittering that brush line around is what creates the illusion that everything in this drawing is alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you stare long enough, it might move.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
That's tricks you pick up only after you've been doing this for like a long time.
Well, yeah, because you realize Kyle and I here in town, we used to talk. I told this to him a long time ago, and then he really kind of latched on to the concept as well, where I was like, I let go of the idea. Look at how I messed that up. See that line? I was just like, that went too far from a shoe. So I'm just going to act like that's extra dust.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean? But I told Kyle, I was like, I let go of the need to like. I don't give a shit about like the perfection of a drawing. I give a fuck about the emotion of a drawing. Like that's what I've always loved about your work too. Is like when you see it, I can feel you fucking smiling while you made it. Like
Good.
I don't ever feel that when you were making a piece of art, you felt like, well, I had to do this today. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I look at some of my friends' work and I'm like, y'all were not happy today. Like,
isn't that crazy? You can see
it
the
is.
psychology almost behind it.
Mhm.
Can I show you another one since you were talking about that?
Please.
Tetsuo.
Oh, I fucking love that. Let me get this. Hold on. See if I can get. All right.
And this
You know
is
what? I'm just gonna take my face off.
Oh, we just lost you, dude.
Oh, I thought that if I took my face off the screen, it would do it. Okay. Let me get you big.
But this is another example of just like pure kinetic fun. And it's like, you know, the cape over here, obviously, this is just like colored pencil, raggedy. Just, I mean,
it's so good. Like, is this a commission for somebody?
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
But it's like this doesn't have to look like photorealistic cape fabric. The jagged lines let the viewer know what it is. This is an iconic.
Yeah, it's your interpretation of that material does it. It's just like it's like any other thing that we have the challenge of making you see things with lines. The world is not surrounded by lines.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything is already abstract. That's why like this person's a realistic artist. Like, no, people aren't drawn. Like, we don't have that.
Yes.
But man, I'll tell you what, this is what is exciting about these streams and what like us being able to connect like this. That inspired the shit out of me. So like now I'm totally gonna be thinking about that the next time I do a commission. Like, man, because I picked a black and white one tonight because I didn't have time to get like my water and all my watercolors out to the podcasting area.
Yeah,
and because I stayed at the Peanut too long. We had a local comic book guys lunch today.
Oh shit! Who was that?
Me, Dennis Hopeless, Jason Aaron, Chris Burnham,
nice,
and Kyle. So and then I had a meeting as well. So like the afternoon was kind of packed, but I had a great time. But then I was like, oh guys, I gotta go. I got a live stream at 5, and I didn't have time. I was gonna do so. I went through and just picked a commission tonight that's black and white. But next week, if I do this again live, we should definitely do some fucking painting, dude.
I'm down, dude. I'll be around. Also, man, I was digging through my archives and I found, speaking of Fairyland, I found this piece I did for you.
Oh my god, I fucking love this, by the way. Dude, you gotta let me buy that from you, man.
Yeah, I'll just give it to you, dude.
Oh well, all right. We're gonna
trade. We'll trade.
Yeah, we'll trade. That's fucking amazing, dude.
But Gert with the baseball bat and the shrooms and
dude,
little.
It's so fucking. I love that piece so much. I love that moon, bro. Oh,
I forgot about this one. We did a full color one that you printed in the actual trade.
Yeah, we did it in the trade. Yep.
I was like, oh shit, I still have that.
All right, Jim. So you're working on Girl Scouts for people. I think everybody here on the paid subs. I think for the most part, it's probably been here when you've been on. If people haven't, you guys, Jim has the amazing Girl Scouts Stoned Ghost out right now that he's working on, and he has tons of old Girl Scout stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to interrupt myself and ramble for a second. I had a meeting with Megan Casey yesterday.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That's an old friend of mine.
I know. I was like, she's like an old homie from like me and you and Morris and like all of us old cartoon heads, right? Like she's over at Netflix now. And so we had a meeting yesterday, and behind me was you and I's Rocket and Groot paintings on my wall in my office over there.
Oh, right.
And she was like, oh man, I love all your art on the wall. I was like, yeah, she's like, what's that one? I was like, that's a this and that's a the Goonies thing. And then I was like, that's me and Jim. She's like, I thought that was my food.
Shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in forever, dude. I actually introduced her to
She told me that story yesterday, dude.
Joe Casey,
Yeah.
and they wound up getting married and having children.
Yeah, she told me that, and again, I've known her since probably around the time that they got married. But yeah, she told me that story yesterday. She was because she saw that she was this funny story, blah, blah blah. Jim introduced me and Joe. Which, again, Joe Casey, great friend of all of ours, and
good dude. It's she was one. I mean, I've had Girl Scouts optioned like 4 different times from 4 different studios for potential Hollywood stuff, and she was like one of the first people. She was at Fox at the time, and optioned it. Nothing happened, but it doesn't hurt to try things. But I can show you guys. Yeah, this is Stone Ghost. This is the first 4 issues are out right now.
I'm just gonna do the 3-way thing on this, and that way, there we go. Hey, everybody, reply in the comments. Can you guys see the drawing? Okay, if I do this 3-way window so everything's even, it takes them a minute.
Skottie, did you see this too? Tommy Lee Edwards variant cover for issue 4.
Fucking A.
That guy.
He's so good. He's so fucking good.
I'm gonna jump up and grab a beverage real quick, dude.
Go do it. All right, so while Jim's gone, you guys can see we're getting some progress going. I'm trying to ink in a way that, but you see how I jump around, right? Like I'm just kind of like acts half done, gonna get back over here. I don't know. There's no reason for that. It's really just where I am at any given moment in my head. And you see, like, here's the thing. Having Jim on tonight, for me, is so natural and normal because for the longest time, here's the thing. Drawing comic books takes forever. And it's lonely. And around the time that they started having Skype and Instant Messenger and all this stuff, me and a group of people would just like get on Skype and have like virtual studio. So that's why tonight when I started, I was like, man, I'm not used to just drawing in silence or whatever. Cause I was so used to reuse like Ryan Stegman and I would draw. Ryan Stegman, Jason Howard, all types of cartoonists. Sometimes we'd have 10 people on a video chat while we were, and everybody's drawing. Because Jim, you could say this, like once you get to a place, so much of your process is internalized.
Oh yeah.
That, you're like either listening to audio commentaries, or podcast, or for me, I'm a social person. So I like to chat. Like it takes my mind off of what I'm doing. And honestly, I end up not just dwelling on things as much. I don't know. How are you with that, Jim? Are you somebody who likes like solitary? Or are you way more like, oh man, I'd rather be like chatting with people while I'm drawing?
I can do either. I mean, I definitely have to be solitary when I'm planning things out and penciling, like especially a comic page. But with inking and all that, like, yeah, I love doing, I can do that in more of a social environment.
Right.
I mean, dude, I was at Drink and Draw when I lived in LA almost every Thursday.
Yeah, those Drink and Draw. I mean, that Drink and Draw inspired Drink and Draws all over the country, man.
Yeah, that was like the classic era of like Dave Johnson, Jeff Johnson, Dan Panosian.
Yep.
LaShawn Thomas would show up. God, who else, man? Like, I think Cheeks occasionally would cruise through.
Yep. Yeah, you guys inspired us in Chicago to start one, and me and a group of guys, Tim Seeley, Mike Norton, a bunch of dudes, we started one in Chicago in like around 2006. That went for years. It was. It went on long past me even living in Chicago.
Oh wow, shit. Okay.
Yeah, you guys inspired all of us to get into the game.
I like that, and it's it's something that you guys listening, like anybody can do it in any city or town you're in. Just get a couple people together, go to a bar with decent lighting, have some beverages, and just connect and vibe off of each other's work. It's cool.
And I'll be honest with you, those Drink and Draws, that is where I found myself as an artist. And I'm using the pen right now that I'm going to talk about this with. So this pen is a brush pen. So you can, like, it has individual hairs just like a brush, right? Like a nylon brush. But it comes with ink cartridges, but I buy a converter and then add my own ink to it.
Yeah.
So I add real Indian ink, not the watery stuff. And I bought this pen. I've inked almost every comic with this. Every comic over the last 15 years, probably I've inked with this brush. Or,
Right.
I replace the tip all the time, but with this model. And the where it came from was when we started our drawing nights, I was determined to ink like Tim Townsend. Like,
Oh shit.
because I just thought Chris Pacello was the shit.
Yeah.
And so here's where my journey started to shift. Is I bought this pen, and I wanted to be Tim Townsend so bad. And I would go and I'd draw something and I'd start inking, all fucking slick and perfect. And of course, inking with a brush is fucking hard at first. Like,
Oh yeah.
that weird control that you need to pull those lines is just does not come natural.
Yeah.
And so I'd fuck the drawing up right away. But I didn't want to leave the drawing unfinished, so I'd scribble the rest of it with the brush.
Oh.
And so I'd have this drawing that's half clean and then half scribbled, and I'd throw it to the side. And after weeks, I started realizing that I liked the scribble half.
Yeah.
And then I started like, okay, now I need to go study what this is about. So I went to a comic shop, Graham Cracker downtown. My boy Pat was working. And I bought like all 6 volumes of the, Ashley Wood's crazy fucking tomes.
That's one of my guys. That's
where he's just he's just experimenting all over the map, right? Oh yeah.
Got his stuff like at my desk.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's right beside me at all times.
Literally right here. Yeah.
So I went downtown, I got Ashley Wood, I started just studying, looking and realizing the energy in expression that he was giving. And I realized like, oh, that whole clean inking thing is never going to be me. Like, that's not really who I am. I'm clearly connecting with this other thing, which also harkens back to now Calvin and Hobbes and Watterson is not as crazy as Ashley Wood, but they're from the same family. I know that seems weird to say, but when you get inside of Watterson's work, it's a mess. Like,
yeah.
The lines are not clean. The lines don't connect. He does a lot of letting you fill in the gaps, and there's a lot of energy in their work and so as I started to embrace that, this pen just became pretty much my style, because it was like, I'm going to lay down lines and whatever happens, happens,
Yep. Yeah, especially with Watterson, man, when he would do, the Sunday strips with the big drawings of the
yeah.
and the creatures and aliens, the cross hatching and the line work in those monsters and stuff is super loose.
So loose. It's so muddy, and you could see the rough edge of the dry brush as he turns a corner.
Yep.
And when he's shading, it's just like, when I realized that, I was like, okay, it's time for me to let go of this modern version of what I thought I needed to be in comics, and go back to the days of my childhood where I loved the cartoonists in Mad Magazine. I loved the cartoonists on the Sunday paper. I loved Sam Keith. Sam Keith was in my DNA longer than I realized. I must have pushed him down because I was doing Oz, and as I tell this story sometimes, I've told the story a couple of times. I mean, when the iPad first came out, it was 2010.
Yep.
And I was like, I didn't really do a lot of illegal downloading of comics because I'm still all about buying people's shit. But the Macs didn't exist. There was like, you could dig around and find the trade paperbacks maybe, but this shit was so out of print at the time that I was trying to find myself, and I was like, I need to go back to my childhood, and the Max is one of my favorite things.
Oh man.
And so I found the whole series and downloaded it and put it on my iPad. And man, Jim, as I flipped through those pages, I didn't even fucking know how many things I stole from him. Like,
oh yeah.
because I was 14 and it went in and it stayed. But as I got further away from the Max, I didn't remember why I drew grass the way I drew it. Or why I would do weird curly cues on things. Like, like the spiral weird fray on a shirt.
Yep.
I didn't know why I did that because I hadn't seen the Max in 15, 20 years.
Wow.
And all of a sudden I pulled that out and I was like, oh, it's been hiding in me. And now I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I came. It's like meeting a long lost relative and be like, man, you look just like me.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, I made you, motherfucker. Like,
yeah. You connect the dots.
Yeah.
And, certain things just stay with you almost like subliminally.
Yeah, it was like in your, it's like in your DNA. I mean, I think for us who are big music heads, I'm not even going to say just hip hop, but just any music in general. Like there's certain things that just stick with you when you're a kid, and you don't even know that it's still hammered in you. Like,
oh yeah, man.
I mean, you pulled out that Tone Loc album, and I was like, man, I feel like it was yesterday, and I'm killing that album. Not the singles, the whole fucking album.
The album's dope.
Yeah,
I feel the same way about like I was buying the original black and white Ninja Turtles when it was Mirage Studios.
Yeah,
and when I look back at those, I feel like I pulled some stuff from the grittiness of some of that, especially like the Eric Talbot inked issues. He would occasionally work with them and do spooky stories with the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Obviously we've talked before about it, but Jamie Hewlett, early 90s Tank made a huge impression, and there's still pieces that are in my style that are like, well, that's just from Jamie. That's like,
oh yeah,
can't get rid of that.
You can't get rid of it, dude. Like it's in us.
It just made such a huge impression, man.
Talk about a dude, talk about Jimmy Hewlett too, man. Talk about what he's changed his art into. Holy shit. Did you get that big Jamie Hewlett tome?
Oh yes, from Tashin.
Fuck yeah, dude. I fucked around and accidentally pre-ordered 2 of those.
Oh shit.
So I had one, and then who came to my house? I'm trying to think of.
Was it Steven?
Huh?
Stephen Green?
Stephen Green, yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Green rolled through my house, and I literally I gave him a double, I think, of the Tank Girl, the whole thing. And I was like, homie, and I was like, have you seen this? And he was like, nope. And I was like, bro, you got it.
Shit.
So
okay.
I gifted him one of my copies of that, and I'm pretty sure I gifted him one of the Tank Girl, like the whole Tank Girl collection that comes in the slipcase.
Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, that's the mother load.
Yeah. He left my house happy. Well, that's when he was moving. He was moving out towards y'all.
Yes.
He stopped and stayed in Kansas City on his way to live in Portland.
Oh shit, that's right. Okay, yeah, that was
right before COVID.
He got here. I felt bad for him because he got here and like a month later COVID happened.
Yep. Yeah, he was one of the last people that stayed at our house.
It was so weird. It was like, well, hey, enjoy Portland for a month. All this shit's gonna shut down. So
right. Now, do you see him much now that the world's open back up, or is he kind of squirreled away?
We just went out drinking on Saturday night, man.
We need to get him up on here.
We get out and have food and beverages at least usually once a week.
That's awesome.
And last week, man, I actually had lunch with him, Farrell Dalrymple, and John Arcudi.
Man, I love Farrell's shit.
Farrell's the man, dude. I love his stuff.
I gotta get Farrell on. I gotta get Farrell to do me some shit for Fairyland.
I'm assuming he would do it. He's,
his covers are so good.
He's doing killer stuff.
Somebody just asked me and you, are we familiar with Toby Cypress? And I'm gonna be like, that's a hell to the yes.
Love his stuff.
He's another one of those visual geniuses that's like, man, I don't understand how this savant just does all this.
Yeah, Toby is totally amazing. He's another guy that's like, you can tell the influences. You can tell he loves Paul Pope. He loves Little Hewlett. He loves.
I think that I can't tell sometimes that there's also not a little Huddleston in there. Like,
yeah. I
mean, I know they're contemporaries, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, we all are inspired by each other too.
Yeah. No, he's awesome. I've got his punk rock jazz art book.
Yep, me too.
And what was that series he did at Dark Horse? The White Coats?
I don't remember.
Anybody in the chat know? Jared, do you know? White Jackets, white something. But he's dope. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, he's so good. Well,
But yeah,
I'm glad that you and Steven have been hooking up because I love that dude so much.
oh yeah, and he's hilarious, dude. Like he's
Oh my God.
a smart, funny guy, and that Southern accent really goes a long way.
Dude, yeah, he crushes it with it. And there's not a time that I'm not around him where we're not just cracking up for hours.
Yeah, the white suits. Thank you, Jared.
Yeah.
White suits.
Now, Jim, I'm gonna tell you something. This is one of my favorite parts of today of doing this commission. Is so Larry always has the cigar, right? And I drew Larry, and I was trying to draw some motion lines to try to create some motion. And somebody in the chat, Jorian, said, "Oh, did you forget his cigar?" And I was like, "Yes, I did, but that's the perfect thing to create." That he flew so fast, he lost it.
There you go. That's awesome.
And so, like a suggestion from the comments tonight, solve the problem. You know,
That's so awesome. Yeah, that worked out perfectly. That looks like it was super planned.
Yeah, that's where I was saying I love the improv nature of commissions because you're like, again, it's another way to keep things fresh and fun.
Yes,
and not feel like, man, this thing was so planned within an inch of its life.
That's a tricky thing because like with this Batman one that I showed you guys, I mean, it's like, okay, I've drawn Batman 100 times. I have to draw him again. What do I want to bring to the table as far as a cool Batman drawing goes? It's like,
right.
Obviously, he is one of the coolest characters to draw, but it's kind of like, what signature thing do you want to put on this? Like, how do you want to stand out? How do you want to make it different? Luckily, I figured out the cape thing that I showed you guys, but yeah, it's always I guess going back to that problem solving idea of, like, what am I going to bring? What flavor am I going to bring to this?
Right.
One? Yeah.
And also, like, what are you going to bring to yourself that's going to be like, I don't want to draw the same drawing every time. You know what I mean? Like, I want to excite myself as well.
Yeah. That's also really important, is like staying engaged.
Right.
And do you have a time of the day that you feel more energized at? Like, are you a morning, day, or nighttime worker?
I am very, very hardcore, pretty much kind of like I am in the studio between 7:30 and 8 in the morning. But I have kids, so I have to get up at 6:30, get them ready for breakfast. Casey, I get them breakfast. We get them ready. Casey swings them to school, and we both leave the house at the same time. She swings the kids to school. I swing over to the studio and start. Just recently, here's what my day was. I get here that early, and then I'd want to do my daily sketch. And it used to work for me forever because I thought, oh, if I start the day with a finished drawing, the day is going to, but over time, the daily sketch started taking me longer because I was running. I mean, I've been doing those for 10, 12 years. So I'm kind of losing the momentum a little bit. Sure. And so I was spending more time thinking about what to draw than drawing. And I was wasting a lot of my morning. And then I'd check emails and do business emails. And then some of these emails would put me in a funk. And now I got to solve somebody else's problem. And or here at the company, I do my signings in the morning. So basically I was shoving all these kind of remedial tasks in the morning when I'm the most fresh. Right. And so about 3 weeks ago, I reversed it. And I in the morning when I get to the studio, I turn my email off. I don't look at it because I don't want to be in a bad mood from some, situation. We've shifted my signing times for, John, who everybody's met here, who runs the shipping department. I've shipped my signing times now to the afternoon. So I get right in the studio, and from like 7:30 or 8 until like lunchtime, noon, or after lunch, 1 or 2, it's just me making stuff. So I've been writing so much lately, so it's a lot of scripting. But then last week I did some covers, so it was cover time. So mine is in the morning, and then I start to get fried, and that's when then I'll click on the email. Like, all right, now it's time. Now I could do some of the stuff that doesn't need creativity or my focus or anything like that. And for the last 3 weeks, I've been so much more productive.
Nice. Okay, cool.
And so I'm checking off to-dos way faster now, where before I was like, man, why am I not getting anything done?
Yeah.
And it's because I was not utilizing my most time or my most productive time. What about you? What's yours?
I'm on a thing where like I get up and I will check emails, but then I will try and exercise, man, early as I can in the day to get my blood pumping
Right.
and my brain working. And then after that, I come home, I put in the drawing time, I take a break, and I go out for lunch basically every day and take like an hour break.
Yep.
Then after lunch, when I get back, that's my most productive time where I go usually until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So I have like a good like 5 to 6 hour chunk
Right.
after lunch of just straight drawing. And
Okay.
then I'll go back and like check email and handle that shit. But
Right.
sometimes, dude, I have to just straight up turn off my phone
You have to.
to like draw and get pages and stuff done where I not even turn the ringer off, but I mean physically just turn the entire phone off.
Right, because you're still tempted, even if the ringer's off, you're still tempted to go check shit.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
I agree.
There's too many ways to get distracted now, and just, you know, even being at home where my studio is distracting because it's just like I could draw or I could just go sit on that couch over there and like watch TV, but
Yep.
I can't do that.
Yeah, and I tried to do a pretty hard stop at 5 or before, you know, depending on if I'm spent, I'm spent because, you know, again, I got to get home and want to do dinner with the kids and
Sure.
hang out with them a little bit, and then, you know, and then Casey and I make sure that we have time to watch our shows. But you know, like there was a huge chunk of my life where I was so focused on this that it was going to start being detrimental to like friendships and relationships and things. So I could be very obsessive. So it's easy for me to get lost in some shit that I love. But I'm like, I've made choices to be a part of other people's lives, and I've created lives. So I gotta be a little bit more disciplined. So years ago, and now it's crazy. Like if you try to get me to be creative at like 8:30 p.m., I think I'm gonna do it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a fucking drawing tonight. 8:30 p.m. comes around, I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
My brain it's done. It's conditioned to be done, you know?
Yeah. I'm that way like after like 9 or 10. I'm like I'm done with everything. I'm just gonna watch a movie and
Right.
and chill. And when you sit down to write, dude, are you actually sitting in front of a computer and scripting things out, typing? Are you doing a more organic, like taking notes, using note card, index card kind of stuff, or like what are you doing when you're
my writing process? I used to feel so intimidated. Real quick, I'm gonna hold on real quick. So if everybody can see, so we've got mainly the main gist of this all drawn, but everything's still scribbly underneath it. So I'm gonna clean it up now and go erase some of that stuff. So you guys just know where I'm at in the process. So for me, I used to be so intimidated by the writing process. I was like, what the fuck? I know I have ideas and I know I'm like, I can do this, but I got intimidated by the craft of it.
Mm-hmm.
So once I broke that, I forgot. One thing you start doing when you clean things up is you realize you didn't draw parts.
There you go.
So I got intimidated, but once I cracked the code of the craft part, it was much easier for me to start. So this is my process. I have a program called Scrivener. It's for Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a great virtual corkboard because I used to do index cards.
Oh yeah.
On an actual corkboard. Old school writer's room style, right?
Sure.
So comic books are 20 pages. I lay out 21 cards and I lay them out in a way that I can see the facing pages. So the left hand page, the right hand page, because I always want to be in control of the page turn as I'm writing.
Yes. Yeah.
So I look at an issue based on 2 cards at a time, blank. And then I basically, to plot it, I go through and I write a sentence or 2 per card. And that's because, again, you and I have been drawing comics a long fucking time, and we know how much fits on a page.
Yep.
So I think the biggest strength that we have as writers who probably were artists first is we understand the spatial relationship between story and art better than almost anybody.
Yep.
Because you get a script from a writer sometimes, you're like, I'm not drawing on this, doesn't fit on here, right? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't work. So I run through I write full script for myself too. So I go through those. I write a sentence or two per card until I've got the plot laid out. Then the screen splits. So I have the corkboard on one side with the cards and the script page on this side, and I just look at the card one and I go page 1, panel 1, and I start having, that's when you feel like a psychopath, where you're just having fake conversations with yourself and all the characters you've created.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much my process for everything. Is I just go card by card and I start working out. Now, of course, the cards are loose, and so sometimes I need more space, and sometimes. Now, the great thing about creator-owned books is you can't, like my Marvel books, I'm stuck with 20 pages, like, because the rest of the pages are taken up with ads, and so there's no way I can be like, oh, I need 25, 26. Sure. But my creator-owned, I'll often get to a space where I'm like, oh no, I'm totally going to add more pages here because I had an idea, or I'll write a 20-page script, and then if I'm drawing it, it ends up being a 32-page comic because I'm like, man, I want this to be a double spread. Oh man,
that happens to me all the time, man. Where I'm like, I'm just gonna expand on this scene or expand on this idea, or
right,
just because I can and I have the room to do it.
Yep. So yeah, that's my writing process. Is that like. Sometimes I'll take some, I'll have a session where I'm just taking notes if I'm thinking about creating a new project, or I'm just brainstorming a grander scheme where it's not actually prepping like for an issue or something. But yeah, I'm a very index card based plotter.
Nice. Okay.
How about you?
I keep a notebook for like each issue of the series I'm doing. And in that notebook, I'm just writing down all my ideas, designing characters, and planning it that way. And then I basically have a bunch of ideas, man, that I have to put together like a puzzle at the end, and also coordinate how all the issues are going to, jive together when it's
right.
If it's a 6-issue series or whatever. But right away, I developed kind of a skeleton of the series if it's 6 issues, and I figure out like what's going to happen in each issue, what's the cliffhanger of each issue, and within each issue, like what is the main 3-act structure of each issue.
Right.
So, I mean, I've watched, I still have to, I write, I think me writing and drawing my own comics makes a lot of sense, but I don't know if I would ever be capable of writing for other people to draw from.
Right.
Like you're really good at that. You obviously can rock that. I really haven't tried that. So I know I can write for me, but I don't know if I could actually do like a full finished official comic book script.
Right. It's a weird, I've only had a few instances where I definitely disliked it. And that's where I didn't pick the artists.
Oh yeah.
I'm able to do it when I'm very intimately familiar. Like I've always been familiar with your work, but then when I knew I was going to work with you, then I went and grabbed your books, and then I looked at your work in a different way at that point. Not as a fan of the energy and style, but now I went and I sat down and I pulled out your books and I flipped through them as a person who's getting ready to structure out pages for you to draw.
Right.
That way I know what works and what doesn't, like I'm not going to write weird camera movements and scenes for somebody who doesn't draw like that. Like,
yep.
And I think that probably my biggest strength as I've jumped into the writing is that where I'm capable of like looking at somebody's pages and know exactly where their head was while they're doing it, and then make sure that I just aim at that. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you can tell you're an artist then.
Right.
You're writing with considering the visual,
right,
artist you're working with, and that is important.
I think it's super important. It's so, it benefits me. Listen, if I know like Nick Klein on Deadpool and Scott Hepburn on Deadpool, if I know how they like Deadpool is a great example because I had 2 artists rotating. So I wrote very differently for these 2 people.
Wow.
wrote the same book very differently because Nick did things different than Scott did.
Yep.
And so it only makes me look smarter than I am if I tee them up or fucking alley-oop them just to dunk all over everybody. Like so it makes me be like, I didn't really do as much as you guys think I did because I just teed it up for them, like to crush it.
You're like, I was just smart enough to do a little bit of extra research and know what each artist is capable of and what is in their wheelhouse.
That's it. It really is just a matter of like, can you make sure that, and that's where I think, and listen, I mean, that's because we draw like that. We've been drawing our entire lives. So we understand the size of a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
We know that one of the weirdest things that I realized when I first started drawing comics is I spent most of my time before drawing comics drawing full bodies. And then the one thing that you realize when you start drawing comics is you almost never fucking draw full bodies.
You don't. It's weird. And when you do, it's like the smallest thing that's happening in a panel, or I save it for like a silhouette panel.
Right.
Where it's just the shape of the character and you know who it is, you know what it is. Did the Deadpool bubblegum cover with Nick Klein ever get published?
Oh, yeah, 100%. That was the Garbage Pail Kid kind of conceit. Yeah. Why? I feel like there was some sort of rumor or something with that because it got real expensive real quick. So someday, Da Vinci, tell me what the situation with the Deadpool cover was, with Nick's Deadpool bubblegum cover. Oh, no, was it bubblegum or a lollipop? Can't remember. I thought it was or was there both? I can't remember.
Have you been censored at all by Big Two?
I drew a cover once for Alpha Flight, and there was supposed to, I guess the whole thing was like the X-Men were in some sort of wax museum. So I got to draw like evil versions of like so many characters, like 30 characters on it. And this is early in my career, so it's definitely not how I draw now. Definitely some Jason Pearson crazy swiping on how he would draw stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I had drawn a Storm, and she was like crazy hippie, like big hit. Like I drew Storm. You know what I mean?
Like Larry Stroman style.
Yeah, just like bow. You know what I mean? And they were like, they definitely did not publish it. Like they got and I was like, that's a bummer. It's all right. I made a print out of it and sold the shit out of it. But but other than that, I'm trying to think if I've ever gotten censored.
Okay.
I don't think I ever have. Have you?
I got censored. My very first thing with Marvel, the Gen X Underground special, I had Jubilee on the back cover holding a cigarette.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Right at that was the exact era that they decided that nobody could smoke anymore, and they were teenagers.
Yeah, and they just someone in-house just like whited it out. So when the book, they didn't tell me, but so when the book got published, I was like, oh wait, her there's no cigarette in her hand. And dude, I just remembered something as I was saying that. Another one I got censored where the finished product came out way dirtier and fucked up is I did an all comedy issue at Marvel called Wah-Ha.
Oh, I remember this.
In 2005 with short stories, Mad Magazine style, written by Bendis, Brubaker.
Didn't you do a Fantastic Four situation there?
That was the one. That was issue of Ultimate Marvel Team Up I did with.
Oh,
Bendis.
gotcha. Yeah.
And that was an all comedy issue with Wah-Ha. There was a story. I'm trying to remember. It was an Avenger story. I think Brian K. Vaughan wrote it. And in the background, I had Iron Man chugging a bottle of booze.
I have an Iron Man story. Yes.
And so, Skottie, the gesture of Iron Man is this. It's him like, and they took the bottle out, dude. And so it looks like Iron Man is making a deep throating. It turned out way dirtier. When I got the finished product, I saw the finished book. I laughed my ass off because in an attempt to censor, they made it like twice as dirty.
Way,
It was
way
so
worse,
weird.
right?
It was so fucking weird.
That's fucking amazing. I had an Iron Man, so I should have fucking realized this too, because I was doing covers for like the young, like Iron Man Adventures books. And I did one where he was like sitting there like Hamlet style. He's like holding his mask, and all of his suits of armor are behind him, and he's sullen. He's in his workshop, and his hands holding a bottle of beer. It's just our age, because we had the Demon in the Bottle story growing up.
Yeah.
And so it's like anytime that it's like I hadn't read the guilty. I hadn't read an Iron Man comic since back then. So like I just was like, well, he's an alcoholic, so I'm always going to draw him with a bottle of beer or whiskey. They did make me take that out.
Yeah. It was it's like Wolverine can't smoke anymore.
Right, which is super weird, right?
I think it's lame, but you know.
Yeah, that was right there that era they started taking away the smoking from all characters. I mean, I guess it's okay now, because now almost you don't really see smoking that much in real life anymore.
That's true.
So I guess in some ways, like, we're somewhere close to that version of life now.
Yeah.
But, I smoked forever, and I never did it because I was like, yeah, look at these fucking comic characters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, with the bubblegum cover, he said he saw it on a Google search, but haven't been able to actually locate the book.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you, I think it's pretty rare, because I think there was some sort of controversy on it. Like, oh, no, wait. That wasn't even a cover. The bubblegum thing was like it was like an announcement drawing that he did for us, I think.
Okay.
I think. I'm almost done with this. Then I'm going to sit and just chill and chat with you for a minute. Like, I like starting early. Like, usually we don't even start till right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I've been going for 2 hours already.
You guys are 2 hours ahead.
We're Central Time, so I'm like I got done we started at 5 tonight instead of 7, because I was like, the 7 is getting a little too late for me.
Yeah, because you usually go for an hour, so that means you're not done until
8, and then we get home, and then me and Casey are like, what are we having for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? And then it's like, by the time we're eating, it's 10.
Right. What time do the kids go to bed?
They do. My youngest is about 8, between 8 and 8:30. He's 6. And then Baxter's 12. So he's between 10:30. He's reading the Harry Potter books right now for school.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
Yeah. He's starting the first one.
Okay, cool. I never read any of those, man. I feel like I missed out.
I love them so much.
I need to go back, and there's certain pop culture things that I just didn't, I've never seen a Twilight movie.
I did a week where I just decided to do them all.
Okay.
And man, it was a tough week. But I was like, I can't properly like diss these things until I really give it a shot.
Right.
But it's there's something special.
Dude, that's awesome. That looks great.
Thanks, man. All right, we're gonna sign it. I wonder if the person who has this commission was in here tonight. Probably not. Let's see.
That pen you're using right now, I love those pens.
It's so good, right? And you got the gray one too, right? The big thicker one.
Eric Canetti turned me on to those.
They're so good, dude. I mean, these are about as close to real like brush lines that you can get out of a felt tip pen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, dude, on your other pen that you showed that you did the whole drawing with, how often do you have to replace the tip on that?
Man, I honestly think it depends each time I get one. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this. It won't, but like this tip's been lasting a while. But I think I remember when I was doing issue after issue, I want to say I probably replaced them every issue or every other issue.
Okay.
Because it just starts getting so gummy. But yeah. I think you could push it. But that also depends on what kind of line you want. If somebody doesn't need fine lines, you could just keep fucking going with it,
Right.
It's such a great pen. To me, what I like about this versus the Pentel pocket brush.
Oh yeah.
The pocket brush is just so juicy. that a line can get out of your hand, get out of hand real fast.
Yeah, it's too much juice.
It's too much juice. It's
too much.
the flow, the nylons, the. So this one is finer. It just depends on what I'm going for, on what I'm going to look to do. But I think that was finished. Let me see who got this one. Brian Sieber. I don't know if Brian Sieber's here tonight, but if he was, he just watched his commission get done. So there we go. We went from making some shit up. We chose this one. We drew her. We added added Larry, and now we got a full commission for Brian.
Nice, beautiful.
Love it. So I'm going to take that off, and now it's just going to be me and you for a minute.
Brian, you're the big winner tonight.
The big winner.
Oh, the Harry Potter audiobooks. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah. That's when I say I've read them.
I can do that while I'm working.
Yep. The audiobooks, let me up on this leave. The audiobooks for Harry Potter are fucking great. I listened, there was a time, I mean, now that I'm writing, I can't do it as much, but there was a time where I was doing one of those or I'd listen to all of them once a year.
Oh shit. Okay.
Just while I drew, because they're so fucking good.
I need to get into it. I saw the first 2 or 3 movies. They're great. I just, it was one of those things of like, you can't keep up with everything in pop culture, man.
No. That one I got in at the right time. And so I really, really loved and jammed on that. So that one worked for me. Twilight, I did dive into I read the first Twilight book because I wanted to see, again, everybody was dissing it. I was like, all right, like, I don't like it's just as nerdy as the shit that we do. So let me go check it out. And I read it and I was like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to read it anymore.
The woman who wrote Twilight, I was living in Arizona at the time, and she's from Arizona when the book started to blow up, and she's Mormon.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And I remember like in Arizona news, like it was like a big hot thing that like this woman, her books are blowing up, this Twilight vampire thing. And I'm a big horror fan. And so when I started kind of researching it, I'm like, oh, but it's like emo vampires, like for teenage girls. This is probably not for me.
Right.
And then everyone started talking about like, they're vampires that sparkle and shit. And for me, again, I'm like, it's probably not for me. I'm sure it's fine, but I'm like more of the I'm a slasher 80s horror kind of fan,
Well, I'll tell you what. The one thing that they made you feel like it was connected, but I think we talked about this. Maybe we talked about this on another stream. But the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
So that show, that's also based on books. And they were it looked as if they're trying to jump on the Twilight bandwagon.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But those books were written back during the Anne Rice days.
Right.
So they were written to be hardcore. They were all like Anne Rice, like kill you type book. And so when you even watching the show, that's a murder ass show. Like,
okay,
it's not like little like soft ass vampires. They're no fucking joke. So that series is actually really good.
Okay. Someone just commented, you mean vampire diarrhea?
Oh, someday Da Vinci, get out of here. Love it. What else? You been watching anything else?
I just finished my 2 favorite shows are Peacemaker and Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, I haven't dove into Righteous Gemstones season 2 yet. Love season 1.
Dude, season 2, I won't spoil anything, but season 2 is so psychotic and amazing and ramped up from season 2 that I was watching it and I'm like, what is happening? It becomes like a Coen Brothers movie.
Right.
It's fucking great.
I love that show so much. Peacemaker is perfection.
I was shocked at how good it is, but it's James Gunn and I love his shit. So
but I think it's James Gunn at his I think Peacemaker's like his Aaron Sorkin's West Wing.
yeah.
He's hit his stride so hard on this show.
Yeah.
I love it.
the other thing I noticed, man, with watching different shows, I don't watch a lot, but like HBO Max, I mean, with Peacemaker and Gemstones, these shows obviously have huge budgets because
Right.
they look great.
Right.
I mean, the production value is there, and like with Peacemaker, with the action and the CGI eagle and stuff, like none of it looks wonky.
No, it's fucking solid. And
All-
I don't
it
want to
all
spoil it.
works.
I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody who gets there, but some of that shit that goes down on at the end in the last couple episodes, you're like, what the fuck? This is a weekly TV show.
Yeah, and it's movie quality.
Right.
So, and then, man, my other favorite thing on Netflix is I Think You Should Leave. Have you seen this?
Which one is that one?
It's a sketch comedy show from this guy, Tim Robbins.
I don't think I watched it.
Tim Robbins. He used to be a writer at SNL, and this show, dude, it's like a satire of SNL type sketch shows.
Right.
So it's sketch comedy, but then he pushes it like 5 levels beyond what it should be, and it's really brilliant. It's
That's
really
awesome. We just got done watching. What did we watch last night? We watched Bachelor. A couple nights ago, we watched, over the course of 2 days, we watched a Bill Cosby documentary on Showtime.
Oh, is that new?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
shit.
what's his name? Kamau. You'd know him. I think he's been on Daily Show. He's a stand-up comedian, but does a lot of like
Yes.
Kamau. I can't remember his last name right
I know
now.
who you're talking about. I know who you're talking
He does a documentary, and it's good. It's not good. It's, you know what I mean? You're like, ooh, this is.
Yeah. Well, he's a hard person to talk about just because, like, for guys our age, and like my older sister and I grew up on Cosby.
Well, that's basically this whole documentary. It's called like Let's Talk About Cosby, and man, the thing is I knew all the newspaper headline stuff, but when you watch this and see some of the stuff they point out, it'll flip you out, man. Like it's oof.
It's weird. And also, man, I'm obviously a huge funk and jazz fan, and
Right.
I have records. He made records with Quincy Jones in the
Right.
60s and 70s that are
Right.
these brilliant like jazz funk fusion. Bill Cosby himself is like scatting and doing like vocal stuff on the albums.
Yep.
And they're funky as hell. And it's all shit now that it's like,
Yeah.
can I listen to these?
That gets brought up on the thing too. If you have Showtime app, check it out. We did that. What else did we do? I felt like we did another doc. Casey's always watching some murder shit.
Oh, sure.
She's she's a true crime junkie.
Dude, speaking of Showtime, did you see the Rick James documentary
No.
on Showtime?
Oh, Jorian Rivera came in and said it's Kamau Bell.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
The Rick James documentary is insane. I can't recommend it enough.
It has to be insane.
It's fucking incredible, dude. What a life that man led.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know that there's anything other. I mean, we watched Love Is Blind. Me and Casey watched a lot of mushy shit. Oh, we started watching we used to watch American Idol back in the day, but then we fell off, and then it went away, and it got canceled finally. And then years later, like the last 4 years it's been back, and we popped it on last night. A couple of the auditions, man. They don't do the shit anymore where they're like, hey, look at all these terrible people and we're gonna make fun of them.
Okay.
Like that's gone.
The mean part.
Yeah, the mean part's gone. It is 100% highlighting people from every little crevice of our country who are dope as fuck singers.
Okay.
And there was a moment in the first episode of auditions. And you know, like every show you ever watch is like, stay tuned after the break. We're going to show you the most moving American Idol performance of all time, of all history of American Idol. You're like, oh Jesus, I hear this every, and they come back, and this guy starts playing piano, and he sings a song, and he weaves in every Black person who got killed in 2020 into the song. Casey's on the couch just bawling.
Shit.
And for once, they did not fucking lie. Like, you couldn't breathe for a good 5 minutes while he played the song. Oh, I'm not gonna fuck it up with my bullshit voice or anything, but if you go, I can't remember his name because we just watched it. It was late last night, but I urge everybody to go, if you don't watch it, to go and just Google it on YouTube or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's searched on YouTube, and it was truly pretty powerful. But we watched a couple episodes of that last night, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna go watch the Batman here this week, I think.
Yeah, I've been hearing great stuff about it. I mean, I'll see it when I have time to see it.
All right. No, you know what? We'll text each other. We have to go see it, and we'll talk about it next Wednesday.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. It's funny, man. I don't know how you feel, but for me, like I already feel like I've seen it. It's like, it's Batman. It's dark.
Right.
He's a detective. Like, my little brother was really trying to sell me on it. And I'm like, Dan, I get it. Like, it's Batman. I get
it. I do. I felt the same. But the weird thing is people that I didn't think would like it are getting on and being like, wow. Here's a singing praise. And we both can confirm that he never likes these movies. Fucking Mignola loved it.
Oh shit. I
saw him on Facebook. He's like, it was really good. And I was like, what? Mignola never really digs comic book movies. Like, and I agree. I usually agree with him on a lot of these things.
Yeah.
But when he came in today, it's 3 hours. So
oh shit.
It's a 3-hour movie. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is too long for me, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I think that's too, because dude, with trailers, that's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, you're going to be there for 4. You're going to do a 4 bid. That's a 4 banger right there. 4 hours. But yeah, so a lot of my friends have dug it, and then, like I said, Miola was singing its praises, so I was like, all right, I'm going to give this one a chance, because I am one of the rare. I did not love the Nolan movies like everybody did. I like parts. But they weren't necessarily my jam. Like,
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
I rewatched those recently, and they're fine. But
right.
Yeah, there's some weirdness in them. I mean, obviously, Dark Knight with Heath Ledger is incredible, but
right.
There's also weird shit in them, man. At times where I'm like, wait, why is Batman's going to Japan now? What's going on?
We got Nikki D just said we got there 45 minutes late and didn't miss anything.
Honestly, man, a half an hour of trailers before the movies now, I think is too much.
I think it's abusive. I think at one point there was so much complaining that they scaled back on it, but they've flown right back into it, because I don't mind it necessarily as much if I'm there, but I'm going to be like the old cranky dad. That's like, if I have my 6-year-old in the theater who's there to see like a kid movie, like.
Yeah,
you cannot make this kid be in there for 45 extra minutes of trailers.
Yeah.
And your new, like, we're back at the movies, Nicole Kidman walking around. It's like, I don't need a pre-movie short talking about how we love the theater. We're here. We already bought our ticket. Like, we already bought it. We're in the room right now, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
you've got us. You've got our money. We're good.
Yeah, don't sell me anymore, man. You sold me.
Yeah.
But all right, so I would say by next week, I'll text you about it. But let's try to see Batman before next Wednesday. We'll come back and do this again.
Let's do it.
And we'll do a side thing tomorrow where we'll talk and figure out how to set some technical shit.
Yeah.
And then we can both, because I got so many commissions to do. I got to start doing commissions on these live streams.
Yeah, and I'll join you because I have my list of stuff.
Right. So I figured if I'm already doing this is a perfect time for me to sit down and do my commissions.
Yes.
Word.
That's
all right.
awesome.
Well, I'm gonna wrap up and go grab some freaking dinner. We did a 2.5 hour bid on this today.
Oh yeah.
Great. Hey man, thanks for coming, keeping me company, dude. That was awesome.
My pleasure. Anytime, man. Also, can I plug a thing real quick?
Do it.
If you guys are in Arizona, anyone watching, I'm doing a signing at Atomic Comics this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Girl Scouts official signing. My buddy Mike Malvey reopened the famous historic Atomic Comics. I believe it's in Gilbert, Arizona. So I will be there this weekend. I'm also hosting a drink and draw Friday night, this Friday, at the Foundry Hotel in downtown Phoenix.
Awesome.
So cruise by, say hi. I'll be in Phoenix.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, and everybody, before you go, we launched my Amazing Spider-Man #1, SkottieYoung.com exclusive today.
I love that cover, dude. Where
Thanks,
he's all crazy.
It's my Spider Grinch.
I love it. Yeah.
Thanks, dude. So yeah, run over there. Those are live. I know a couple of you have already got them. We saw your names up in there already. So yeah, we appreciate you guys dropping by, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you guys.
Peace.